You're listening to 102.9 WFPRLP, Franklin Public Radio.
Recording in progress.
Welcome, everyone. I'd like to open up the Franklin Conservation Commission meeting for April 17th, 2025. Before we begin, I'd like to take a roll call.
Richard Johnson.
Michael Ryan. Jeff Livingstone.
Roger Turhan.
Nicole Sharmonti.
And anyone online?
Mark LePage.
And Louis?
Louis Puga.
Louis, okay. So we have everyone here. Thank you very much. Also, just want to take a quick moment to note, we have a most excellent transcriptionist, Judith Lizardi. She's fantastic. She does all of our minutes, and some of them are really tough to do. A couple of requests. Sometimes people don't stand very close to the mic. The mic really is for specifically the minutes taking. So if you guys could just get a little bit closer to the mic so that it makes it easier for her to hear. 1 and 2, she's noted that these mics here that we have at our desks are extremely high sensitive. They pick up absolutely everything. So if someone someone is talking at one of the mics and we are actually moving papers or doing things here or bumping things, it actually can wash out what the people are saying, and the transcriptionist cannot actually hear what they want, so she can't make the minutes. So she just asked that when people are talking, just be careful about shuffling papers and moving things around, that's all. And we doff our hats to Judith for the fantastic and absolute great, most amazing work that she's been doing for us. Truly spectacular, thank you. Anyway, so let's open up the first meeting, which is Louise Drive. I want to note for the record, there are 3 of us due to missed meetings that cannot vote on this. That's Richard, Mark, and myself. The rest of us can. So we do have quorum, however, for the Louise Drive. So is there anyone here? I guess Louise, you're here for Louise? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And I think we're basically here to go under conditions. It looks like everything else is pretty much in place.
One thing, Jeff, I'd recommend
Yeah.
is we've got I think a potential variance request.
Oh,
Maybe it'd be good if the applicant could review the details of what that variance request entails, so we could all review the
Okay.
details of that.
okay, yes. Could you please?
I believe Tom Schutz is online, who may know more about the variance request. That's the wetland scientist for the project.
Okay.
I believe is with us and can review what the specific variance is that's
Okay.
being requested.
Okay.
Tom Schutz, Goddard Consulting. I'm sorry, I apologize. I do not know the variance request. Does anybody mind explaining that? I apologize again.
Are you looking for us on the Conservation Commission, Tom?
Correct,
I
yes.
think you could. So you guys, all right. So nobody from the applicant or Goddard has anything on the variance request. It was addressed and commented on in the peer review letters. I'm looking for that portion of it. So you guys had at least commented on
Brinkley,
that.
do you have any, can you shed any light on this? Any clarification?
Yeah, going back to our bylaws, it would be work within the no touch.
Yeah,
on that replication. I'm pulling it up as well, but Tom, you should have this.
Yeah,
I was
so,
thinking it'd be
yeah,
good to see on the plans, you know, have you take us through it on the plans where the, no touch you're
Yeah,
looking at.
yeah, specifically where you want the variance, yeah.
so the variance would be specifically for the crossing, because that's gonna be actually going over the stream through the no-touch zone. So that's where the variance would be requested for.
Okay. Okay. Well, we,
How much, you know, the square footage impacted, Tom?
Let me take a look. Give me 1 second. Okay, so the square footage of total work within the 25-foot buffer zone is 4,877 square feet, and the square footage of total work within the 50-foot buffer zone is 5,952 square feet. Total work within the BB, or within the 100-foot buffer zone, 31,780 square feet.
okay. So that's, okay.
And is there any proposed replication?
There's no proposed replication for this one, as it was just a crossing to cross the stream and wetland, but there's gonna be some seed mix along the edges of the disturbance where the limit of work goes within the 25 and 50-foot buffer zones.
Yeah, just, again, historical precedent. If it's something that is specifically and limited to access, for example, a applicant has to get from one side of a property to another because of a stream or crossing or some sort of easement or something, typically, we have allowed it without the need for replication, just because it's usually a minimal impact. Now, if it's something that's like, you know, a mile-long driveway or something like that, that's a different story, obviously. But in this case, it seems like it's a pretty typical, common thing that we've run into in the past.
If I could just correct that, there is a replication area proposed.
Okay.
Due south on the plan from the crossing. It's approximately 4,800 square feet.
Okay,
Sorry, I apologize. I thought you were talking about restoration for the buffer zones, but yes, Kevin was correct with what he just said.
okay,
There is wetland replication
Okay.
as well.
Okay.
Back to BW.
all right. I mean, that sounds fine. Do you guys have any issue with that? No? Do you? No? Question? Question?
I did have a question.
Sure, sure.
About the stormwater plan.
1 second, let's do this first, then bring that up. Mark, do you feel comfortable with this? I think we feel comfortable with this.
Yeah, I think you made a good point, right? It's access, but it is a requested variance. I just wanted to hear the details again, make sure we had it on the record, so thank
Sure.
you, Tom.
Right.
I'm comfortable with it.
I mean, you know, it's kind of one of those things where if you start denying access, then you kind of kill the entire project. I mean, they can't, you know.
I get it, yep. No, but I just, you know, hey, requested variance, I'd like to get the details, so
Right.
thank you.
Yeah, you don't want
I'm
people
good.
parachuting across a stream, telling them they have to go to the grocery store. That's a bad thing. Okay, I'm just saying. All right.
Could build a ferry, right?
A ferry, right.
That'd be worse.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
world's smallest ferry.
Yeah.
Louis, do you feel okay with this? Yes?
Yeah, I have no further questions
Okay, all right,
on this.
okay. Now, to you, question.
I just had a quick question about the one of actually DEP brought it up. So on the site plans on page 11, we talk about reinforced turf.
Yes, yes, correct.
Could you go over about, what does that entail?
Yeah, so it's essentially a mat, you know, turf guard, which allows for vegetation to grow through it. So it essentially acts like a grass surface as opposed to a gravel surface, which may be more of an impervious type of surface in terms of stormwater. So it just helps to allow water infiltration and not have extra runoff contributing to the detention basin.
So they're holding the soil in place while the plants can grow up through it,
Correct,
right?
correct, yes.
And water can get down
So
through it, so it
Yes.
doesn't really impact the actual, like, function. It just, but keeps the soil in place, so you just.
Correct, soil's in
erosion.
place
Yes.
and there's stability for the, for vehicles to travel down.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And I think, if I recall, at one of the annual meetings, there was a vendor displaying this material at one of the booths. I think we saw that, actually. It was actually pretty cool.
I've actually used that before.
Have you?
On some of the projects, actually in Cambridge, we did it for a driveway and to maintain the grass coming up through it.
Okay, yep,
So it works pretty good.
okay, all right.
So what kind of material is it made of?
So it's a, so you have a reduced size of the plan, turf systems.
This is when I looked it up, it looked like it had, PFAS in it, so I wanted to clarify that with you.
Yes, it's more of a, yeah, I believe it's a, let's see. I can-
Polyfluoroalkyl?
Don't have a large set of plans. It's, yeah, the specific composition, it may be a plastic or rubber type material. We would certainly be open to using more of a biodegradable material as a condition, if that's something a commission would like.
But you would need something that would hang around long enough for the plants to establish
Correct,
the
correct. So
soil,
it's stable
so that you
to
didn't have
drive
the,
on.
again, you didn't have the erosion
Right.
at some point, right?
Is this a drive or a driveway?
It will be a driveway for maintenance vehicles, not for emergency vehicles or the such. So it's more of a passenger vehicle type of access to maintain the pond. So as far as heavy duty, such as fire department access, that's not necessary. It's more for just upkeep of the pond.
And that
Thank you.
that is going to happen infrequently, right? So
Correct,
there will be
yes.
very little traffic on it.
It'll be 1 to 2 times a year
Right.
based on what the O&M indicates for the specific items.
Right. Is that an issue?
It is an issue to me, because it still leaches into the soil. And since I looked at the depth of the groundwater and whatnot, you are very close to that. So if you could use something that would be, something more of an organic matter, that would be a much better solution to this. Since we're trying to keep them out of our ecosystems, it wouldn't be good to introduce it back into it.
Correct, and we would be open to that, so if that's a condition, we can certainly update our plan to provide for more of a biodegradable option.
Okay, all right. So we can condition it in. All right. Mark, did you note that? You're the one holding the conditions.
Yeah, what I was going to say is maybe, Nicole, you could take a shot at just jotting down how you would like that to read based on your input. And when we read in the conditions, you could add that on if that worked for you.
Yes.
You good with that?
Yep, did you want
Okay.
me to do that
Do you want-
tonight, or do you want something, do you want it
Well, yeah, 'cause we-
formal?
I think the goal is to close it tonight and get the conditions on record. That assumes the applicants agree to the conditions.
Yeah, because they're pretty much done.
I think,
That's it all we got done, yeah. Yeah, that would be the objective, if we could do that, if you're all right with that.
yeah, so
Yes,
Yeah, just take a couple minutes and, you
Sure.
know, we've got a bunch of conditions to go through, so we've got some time here.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
Thank you.
does anyone have any questions, any additional questions beyond the storm or the material? Okay, is there anyone in the audience or online that has any questions or comments on the Louise Drive project? Okay.
Chair Livingstone,
Yes,
can I just had a comment once you get to the conditions, and it's based on language.
okay, sure. I think we are at that point, okay? So I'm going to let Mark handle this because he has been working on drafting with input set of conditions. And if anybody has any additional inputs, please provide them while Mark is reciting some of the conditions that he's put down. And Brika, do you want to talk about this as we go, like per condition?
We can, that's fine.
Okay,
As long as Kevin and Tom, you'll bear with us.
that
So
right?
I actually have some additional language for the additional special conditions to make sure that it meets the submitted to approved temporal conditions.
okay,
makes
So that
sense.
language.
okay. All right,
So I thought we'd do is, list out the standard special conditions. We felt applied, we'll start with that, see if everybody's in agreement,
Okay.
additions, subtractions, changes, and then we'll go through the additional special conditions and Rika Lai can help us wordsmith that. That makes sense for everybody?
yep, I'm good.
All right, cool. So recommended standard special conditions, and again, the other commissioners feel free to add 19, mitigation planning plan, 20, erosion control barriers, 21, extra silation barriers, 24, work performed according to plan, 26, revisions of plans and order of conditions, 27, changes, 28, notification prior to work, 9, right to impose additional conditions, 30, errata as changes, 3, here, have the numbers memorized, use of clean fill, 34, no straw bales, 35, stockpile maintenance, 7, remedy upon problem identification, I'm sorry, that was 37, so on to 41, inspections and disposal of sediment, 44 would be removal of barriers, 45, the watering plan, I think we're going to see that as part of the stormwater protection plan. 46, stockpile locations, 47, removal of sediment, 51, building permit sign off. Any other recommendations from anybody else or special conditions that we should apply?
Brika? You got some-
For standard, no, I have no
Okay,
additional
for standard,
comments.
Okay, all right. Got it. I don't. Anybody? Okay.
You guys good with
I
that?
think we're good, Mark.
I'm just asking the applicant. You guys, any questions, issues?
Nope.
Okay. Great. So we'll have those put in to the record. All right. So additional special conditions. Operations and maintenance plans to be submitted to the commission before work can commence, prior to work commencing. And Brika Live, you feel a need to jump in,
Yep.
just interrupt me.
We're going to do a volley after each one, if that's all right.
Okay.
Go for it,
So
yep.
I would say additional special condition 52, because it needs to continue sequentially from the standard.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
So additional special condition 52, an operations and maintenance plan shall be submitted to and receive approval from the Conservation Department and or Conservation Commission prior to the start of work.
That's- All right. Additional special condition 53. transection of existing vegetation of 3 inches or greater, not 3 feet, 3 inches or greater in diameter, provided to the commissioner prior to the commencement of work.
Similarly, the applicant shall provide a transection or amend the site plan to include existing vegetation of 3 inches or greater in diameter at breast height to be shall provide to the Conservation Department and or Conservation Commission prior to the commencement of work. That was fine.
Okay. 54, applicant shall provide, hear this recollect.
Okay.
Applicant should provide, make impacts labeled on plans submitted to the Conservation Department and Commission prior to commencement of work.
Perfect.
All right.
You got it.
Additional special condition 55. Applicant shall provide on-site inspection of all erosion controls and demarcated limits of work as indicated by ordinance construction fencing to the Conservation Department and Conservation Commission prior to the commencement of work.
For that one, I would just add shall provide on-site inspection and receive approval up from.
Okay.
Right.
Good.
So, sorry, Kevin and Tom, real quick as a learning point for the commission, you really want to say receive approval from, because otherwise, let's just say you include a condition that an applicant has to provide a notice of intent, and then they could start. Well, they're not really receiving an approval of that notice of intent or an order of conditions.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that that approval's in there.
Some sort of gate, yeah, the gate. The gate has to be defined, basically.
Correct. Yep.
Good.
So redundant, but important. Continue, Mark. Sorry to keep throwing you off your game.
No, it's good, right? Want to get it right. Additional special condition 56, applicant shall submit a stormwater protection plan to the Conservation Department and Commission and that approval is such prior to commencement of work, and that stormwater protection plan to include a dewatering plan.
Great.
I believe you guys are planning on doing. 57, applicant will work with Conservation Department Commission to put in place, receive, and have approved orders of condition for each individual lot beyond what is currently depicted on the plans. These must be issued before those lots are clear. Additional special condition 58. Applicant shall provide to the Conservation Department Commission a preliminary construction survey to document any invasive species present, and that will be approved by the Conservation Commission and Department, and that the applicant will remove any invasive species inadvertently introduced to the site within the post-development work area, as well as monitor the situation to ensure successful control. And then we're on to additional special condition 9. Applicant shall provide the Conservation Department and Commission a species list for all proposed seed mixes, have that approved prior to commencement of construction.
Mark, or Vice Chair LePage, apologies.
Sorry.
Your H is very similar to N.
Oh, you know what? I think there was some overlap, but I think
Yep.
N was
So N is specific, the crossing.
to the bank, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
we could include that, but it's kind of a sensitive area, so separate it out. But I'm good combining up to the rest of the commissioners. Hard to have it in there twice, right?
That's fine.
Some of it's
Yep.
the same. Okay. All right. 61, the applicant shall erect erosion barriers around all stockpile locations and have that confirmed by and approved by the Conservation Department and Commission. Additional special condition 62, applicant shall provide contact info, we'd like the cell phone and email of a person responsible for inspection and maintenance of all erosion controls, and that would be provided to the Conservation Commission and department prior to the commencement of work. Additional special condition 63, the applicant should notify Conservation Department and Commission of who is performing work at the site, contact info, again, cell phone and email. Activity is scheduled to be done and receive approval as such from the Conservation Department and Commission before that activity commences. Additional special condition 64. So this is particular to the stream crossing. So the applicant had provided to us in writing a sequence proposed of which the work would occur. Just want to make sure that we put in the special conditions that we're requesting and requiring that that sequence be adhered to, and the applicant, along with their sequence they had provided, would adhere to the following additional conditions. Loam and seed shall be used to stabilize all upland areas, while temporarily impacted wetlands shall be restored to existing grade. Off-dress compost is deemed necessary by the Conservation Department and Commission and seeded with a native wetland seed mix. All temporarily disturbed banks shall be restored to pre-existing conditions. Water impact shall occur within the footprint of the proposed three-sided culvert. That was 60. So now we're on to original special condition 65. Again, this is somewhat overlapping, but the applicant shall provide plant depiction seed mix and location where the seed mix will be placed for bank restoration, Conservation Department and Commission, and get their approval as such prior to commencement of work. And finally, additional special condition 66. The applicant will complete the self-verification form to be submitted to the Army Corps of Engineers regarding the stream crossing. The Conservation Department and Commission must receive a copy of that self-verification along with approval from the Army Corps of Engineers as such. And that approval and form must be submitted to us before any work begins. That would be all that I had. All right. Good wordsmithing. Thank you.
That was good. And then just to comment for, I can't see anybody in chambers, but this mirrors and monitors what was in the beta peer review. So
yeah, I don't want to speak for you, but it looked like Goddard was arguably in agreement with all these. So certainly, if you have issues, bring them up now. But didn't see anything that like there was going to be a challenge based on the commentary you provided, but certainly now is discussed.
I personally have no questions or comments for that. I'll let Kevin speak as well as the engineer for the project, but Goddard has no additional comments on the special conditions that were discussed.
Okay.
Yeah, same here. No concerns with the conditions as presented.
Okay.
there is one more though. Mark, do you recall what number you left off of? Because you need to. 66?
66, so we're on 67, 67.
So then Nicole.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yep, would be 67.
So the applicant will eliminate the turf guard that was proposed on the original plans. The applicant shall use a material that is organic in nature and that will allow for drainage and allow establishment of vegetation.
And then the applicant shall submit said spec of material to the Conservation Department and Conservation Commission and receive approval thereof prior to installation.
Thank you.
Well done, everybody. It's good exercise.
And
Yeah.
you guys are okay with the last one?
Yes.
Okay, as worded, right?
Yeah.
That's
Correct.
right.
Yes,
Okay.
we're okay.
All right, I think we've got it. Okay. If everyone's okay, and there's no more further discussion, I'll take a vote to approve the NOI with conditions as stated.
We're all abstaining over here.
Oh, okay.
That's right, we're all, yeah, all three of us, remember, we can't
It's up
vote,
to you.
we three.
I'll give you, I'd like to propose a motion for Louise Drive with stated special commissions.
Second that?
Yep. Okay, Well-
I vote to approve.
okay.
Approve.
Louis?
Vote to approve with
Mark?
conditions stated.
Mark?
Vote to approve.
Okay, that's 4, that's quorum. Approved, you guys, thank you.
Much
And thank you for your
Thanks, guys.
patience while we went through all this. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So,
Thanks,
another
everybody. Have a good
issue
night.
will come up to be the first one.
Good job.
I've been looking at Louise Drive, I think, for how many months?
Yeah, a long time, yeah, okay. Feels good to get that off the docket. Yay, okay. Now we will go to the second hearing for the evening, which is 124, 126 Grove Street. We do have a note that there is information that is still under review. So, if you'd like, just give us,
Sure. So my name's Michael Hassett from Gary and Howlon. This is Nicole Hayes from Goddard Consulting. Also with us is Arthur Redding, representing the ownership of the project. As you mentioned, this project is still under review with Beta. So at the last hearing, I gave you an update where we discussed the reconfiguration of the wetland replication. And a couple other changes that have been made in response to the first round of Beta comments. Since that submittal that we went over with you last time, we received Beta's feedback. That came in on Monday, and we have since revised and resubmitted as of yesterday afternoon to address the outstanding Beta comments.
okay.
So it's, we think that we're, at the finish line, all of the Beta's comments that they came on in the second letter, we didn't really object to. We're on board with what they're asking for. And then there's a couple deferrals to the board on, either a variance or a waiver. And I can go through that, or if Bricolai, if you'd want to go through it, I'm not sure how you want to handle it.
Well, probably, I'll let you just walk through it if you want.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of go through the letter from
Sure,
Beta.
sure.
So, one of the comments was regarding to the tree count. We had requested a variance or a waiver from the requirement to do the 1-inch diameter
Yes.
tree survey.
Yes.
They deferred to you on whether you guys wanted to approve that. I think the request was to, just not have to do it. I know a lot of the times you're looking for the transect. If that's the preference of the commission, we'd be happy with that as a condition of approval.
Right, typically we look for, again, I'm speaking for the group, but we think 1 inch is crazy, right? We typically have been saying, 3-inch or above, right?
Right.
And we typically, take a small transect and use that as statistic sampling, basically. The best you guys can do, right? And we think that's a reasonable compromise, as opposed to what is written. And if you're okay with that,
Yes.
that is typically what we do.
Yeah, and if that could be a condition of approval, that would be our preference.
Okay.
If it's okay with you?
Sure, sure.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we could condition that in. I mean,
Sure.
we just, as you heard, we just did it for Louise Drive. That's pretty standard. So don't see any issue with that.
Easy.
There was I think it's a somewhat technical point, it's regarding to whether or not a 401 water quality certification is required. Nicole can speak to that better. It's basically, it comes down to whether or not these wetlands are federally jurisdictional, but I'll let her explain it in further detail.
Sure. Sure. My name is Nicole Hayes with Goddard Consulting, for the record. We have been working with the Army Corps, especially recently with all the changes in the law according to if the Army Corps is going to take jurisdiction over isolated wetlands or not. We just had a jurisdictional determination for a West Bridgewater site that had 12 isolated wetlands on the site. I gave that information in our peer review response. And what that boils down to is the Army Corps decided not to take jurisdiction over the isolated wetlands, and their main point was because it did not have a permanent hydrological continuous surface or flow path to a navigable water.
Okay.
So our isolated wetlands on site do not have a continuous flow path or a hydrological connection to a navigable water. And in that instance, I do not believe that the Army Corps would take jurisdiction over the isolated wetlands on our site.
Okay.
And therefore, the water quality would not be needed for 401.
So let me ask you, so if indeed the Army Corps is making those kinds of determinations, and they're essentially creating precedent,
Correct.
then could the applicant then go to them and say, well, can you guys just draft like a note and say, well, based upon precedent, we really don't think this is gonna, in other words, you have some sort of backup in your hand from them saying, no, we don't want to get involved in that. It's not a connection of any kind.
The only issue with that is I don't know how long it would take for their, it might take 6 months, and
Okay.
that's not.
No, I understand. To us, it would be something we just knock off, but to them,
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'd
okay.
have to do a formal.
a formal request. Okay, all right.
Might I be able to just jump in for a second? So I do just want to note that Beta proposes an intermediary and calling DEP. I understand the position of GC, but just in the event it is written for the commission that the applicant confirm with DEP, not Army Corps. And to that point, I agree with Nicole, you would not get a response from Army Corps.
Now,
Where DEP would probably respond pretty rapidly.
that's the next question. I mean, you obviously, it would be stupid to go to DEP and wait 6 months, that would be done. So, right, I mean, so, do you think that's feasible?
Again, I don't know how long DEP will take to get back to us on even a question like that. And sometimes they don't
You
get
could,
us. Go ahead, Buchalai.
I was gonna say you could condition it, especially with
Okay.
what the basins are
Okay.
for the commission to CYA yourself. If I may be frank, you could condition that call is made, and if a
Okay,
401
that's
water
fair.
quality
That's
cert
No,
is
I just-
needed,
I mean, I don't want you guys
it
waiting
needs to
around.
be.
Right, okay.
I also think, Ray, we're at this point, we're looking at, I don't want to speak for you, Nicole, but looking to continue this, right? Because we just got some information we hadn't been able to review. So we've at least got 2 weeks here, right? I mean, let's go to DEP. I mean, maybe it takes longer, but let's get it underway and see if we can get something back. That hurt, right?
But no, I think, I mean, I'm sympathetic with the applicant about waiting around for a government body to do its job, and then impacting the project or impacting the timing of the project unnecessarily. That's fair, right? So I do think, I think Brica has a great compromise in that if we do a condition, you guys can go ahead and do it, but you don't have to necessarily wait for it.
Correct, and I don't mind, I mean, I'd call them tomorrow.
Right, sure. I mean, the calling them, I don't think is the issue. It's,
Yeah.
again, like holding everything up for them to get back to you. That's ridiculous, I think, my personal opinion.
I think that's reasonable.
I agree with that. I was just saying to Nicole's point, let's start tomorrow, right?
Right.
I think I agree with conditioning it in, because I don't want to, get this thing hung up
Yeah.
over it, but let's give it the old college try, and let's
Are we
start
okay?
tomorrow.
We're okay with this, right?
I just had a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're questioning the water quality, and so your organization can't do the water quality? You have to wait for
A third party.
the third party to do that?
It's
Well-
determination, well, it's a determination of who's going to over manage it, right? So, I mean, they would not make that decision, you know, a governmental body would make that decision. That's the issue. Who's gonna do it?
It's a certification, so it's trying to see if the thresholds in this type of project requires a 401 water
Yeah,
quality
it's-
certification.
It's
Right.
more-
It's not that they're not treating water.
Right,
Right.
right.
It's another permit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's another piece of paper
Yeah.
they have to basically get stamped. Yeah,
Right.
basically. Right, do you need that, do you need that piece of paper or not? And who's gonna make that determination, right? It's not gonna be them, unfortunately. That's the issue. Okay.
That's a federal permit, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, federal permit, yeah, right,
But and I have no objection of calling them and asking.
right, okay. I think we're cool with that.
Thanks,
You guys?
Nicole.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. You feel, you're, I guess so, okay. Louis, you're okay with that? Yeah?
Yes, I am.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, great. W1, which Bricolage looks like is bringing up on the screen, that is just recommending a special condition to provide a NIPD's construction general permit. There was a little bit of misunderstanding on our part of what was being asked for. Now we know it's a NIPD's permit, we're going to go after that condition.
Okay.
And then W2 is, we're just requesting to provide our dewatering plan for the two stormwater basins prior to construction. And the reason is we don't have a contractor fully established for the project yet.
Okay.
And so their means and methods haven't been fully fleshed out. And so once we have a contractor and they have their plan, we're happy to come back to Bricolage or the commission, if it's your preference, to have that reviewed and approved
Okay,
as a condition.
so again, same issue, timing.
Mhm.
Is that something that's gonna take a lot of time to do?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
It's just something that we would want to have, we don't want to hold up
Oh, no,
this
no, no.
process.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
So-
standard.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, it's fine. Go ahead. It's your meeting.
So, Michael, are you asking that we not condition that to be provided to the Conservation Department and Commission and get approval for that before construction starts? So
No,
we
just
assume
the
you're going to have a,
No.
you're right. Okay, just making
No,
sure,
no,
yeah.
no.
So you're going to have a contractor hired before you
Oh,
start
yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, they
okay.
need, they
Just
need to
make
know
sure
what he's
I'm
gonna
clear.
do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Got it.
So it's standard. The commission routinely conditions that a dewatering plan is provided. It's rare that somebody has that sussed out while they're permitting. It's also included in one of your standard special conditions. And on the back end, Michael and I attend an absorbent amount of pre-construction meetings, and this is a talking point. So there's many methods to condition it and to make sure that a dewatering plan is provided.
Okay.
And it's not out of the norm to condition it.
Right, we get standard special condition 45, that's dewatering plan, so, okay, good. I think we've got that.
Yeah, W4 is the same thing, but for the other basin.
Okay.
W7, there was a comment regarding invasive species management on the site. Goddard responded, just stating that invasive species will be disposed of off-site at a proper landfill facility, and then Beta deferred to the commission on whether a formal invasive species management plan is warranted for this project, or if just a guarantee to handle them appropriately under the guidance of Goddard would be acceptable to the commission.
I think, doesn't that make sense?
That makes sense to me. Bricolai, do you feel strongly one way or another?
Hey, well, maybe one question,
Yeah.
do we have a feel for how prevalent the invasive species are? I mean, are we talking about a whole bunch of stuff, a big area, a small area? I think that would be
Good question. I mean, are we talking like, railroad cars full?
acres.
No,
Of, you
no,
know.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's not overly
Okay.
contaminated with
Okay,
invasives.
is not, okay. So, Bricolai, do you have a specific opinion, one way or the other?
I'm just shocked that Chris Brattaroli didn't make one. Nicole. No, I defer to the commission on that.
Okay, I think we're fine letting Goddard handle that the way that they, appropriately, yes? Guys, yes?
I am.
Okay. You guys, Mark, Louis, are you all right? with
Yeah,
that?
I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, great. Let's see, this is W10 we're moving to. So this is in regard to the wetland replication and the final configuration of it. This one's a bit of a wall of text, but essentially what it comes down to is Beta was requesting that we provide depict proposed grading within the replication area, and then through that grading establish realistic limits of work, and limits of clearing and any buffer zone restoration measures in there. But in the same comment, they also recommend the commission include a special condition requiring the applicant to conduct a site walk with the agent prior to construction to review the access path and make minor adjustments as appropriate to save mature vegetation. In addition, it's recommended that the layout of the replication area be finalized during the site walk, as the finger-like projections of those three purple protrusions down the bottom there are currently shown at right angles and should instead be more naturally curved to integrate with the surrounding topography. And so we think the best approach is, since the exact access path and replication configuration won't be decided until that site walk part of construction, it doesn't make sense necessarily to try to design proposed grades around that and limits of work, and that could be varying based on the site of the sidewalk.
It's true.
And so we're requesting that after that site walk and the configuration is finalized, that's when, based on our conversations with Bricolai or Beta, depending on timing, everything's finalized, that's when we'll provide a revised plan with grading based on the results of that site walk.
I think that's fair.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable, sure.
Yeah.
Bricolai, what, your opinion?
It,
Yeah?
it will be Beta, Michael.
Okay, yeah.
I will be there.
Okay.
I was going to say we were being
I know
optimistic
you're going
about
on
that.
leave shortly, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
There's a quick question on the replication area.
Yes.
So there's that thin sliver. Is that wetlands already, or is that the path you're talking about?
So this is the access path that comes down from the upland portion of the site and then down to the replication area. So this pink is the two replication areas. There's an existing sliver of wetland
That's what I thought. Okay.
running in through here. And so we're doing replication on the upland island in the center.
Yeah.
And then we initially had a kind of a rectangular area in here. Part of our working session that we had with Beta and the town departments back in January is a request to replicate some of the buffer zone loss as part of the project. And the way that we determined would be a great way to do that is to extend these fingers out, which has the benefit of creating all this pink buffer zone here. So this is currently upland, non-jurisdictional. By creating these fingers out, that makes this area jurisdictional buffer zone. And so it is replicated in through here. And then besides this, to equal one-to-one replication for all the 25-foot no disturb lost and disturbed during the project.
Okay.
So this is, it's not all, the exact same 25-foot off the wetland, but it is at least new buffer zone that is one-to-one in size comparison to the lost no disturb, 0 to 25.
Right. Thank you.
Okay.
W15, that kind of dovetails nicely into that comment. So this was requesting variances for the work proposed in the 0 to 25 and 25 to 50. So we're requesting variances because, as you know, we're filling some IVWs in the existing basins, and that also impacts the buffer zones around those.
Right.
And so we requested a variance at the recommendation of Beta to, cross the Ts on that part of the design.
Yep.
We provided avoid, minimize, mitigate impact statements for that. Essentially, when we were designing the project, we looked around for areas, and basically the only areas available for site expansion are north and south of the building. North is the existing stormwater basin that is far away from all BVW, and it's just local jurisdiction IVWs that were created from lack of basin maintenance. And so we considered those, while jurisdictional, to be kind of the lower quality wetlands on site. And so that's where we proposed the majority of our impacts, to try to mitigate and minimize our impacts.
Right.
Because the only other alternative would be to try to expand on the south, and then you're encroaching on the BVW, which is the highest quality wetland and resource area on the site. And so that's why we, developed to the north of the addition. And then similarly, the parking expansion is impacting the IVW in the southeastern basin rather than, encroaching into the BVW. And so part of the mitigation is that 25-foot buffer zone 1-to-1 replication that we're proposing. Because, we were looking in the bylaws, and it doesn't necessarily quantify what buffer zone replication is appropriate, and so we picked the highest quality buffer zone to replicate, the 0 to 25.
Understood.
And so the comment is Beta defers to the commission on the acceptance of these variance requests. Specifically, the applicant cannot provide replication of the 25-foot no disturb zone, and what I think they mean by that is representation in kind and replicating exactly 0 to 25. And some level of IVW fill is required to construct a project and while meeting the Massachusetts Stormwater Management Standards. And so those are the things I just went over, on the decision making that we went through for the project.
Right. Guys, Thomas?
Michael, what's the ratio of the replication to the 0 to 25 disturbance?
1-to-1. So that pink area on the plan, south of the replication area is, I think it's 24,000 square feet, I think. 22,653 square feet. I don't have the exact 0 to 25-foot disturbance numbers. Oh, it's
I think that
21,799 is the 0 to 25.
So it is greater than 1-to-1.
Yeah, it's just over 1-to-1 ratio. It's just, it's not pure in kind, because that would require some very careful,
I think that's where the variances come, because typically, wouldn't that, you have to typically require 2-to-1, so maybe that's the variance there, or it's going to be 1-to-1 instead of 2-to-1.
So the 2-to-1 is for direct wetland impacts, and we are
I thought it was
meeting that
in zero.
requirement for the IVW impacts. So the darker pink area on the presentation plan, that is 2-to-1 replication for the direct IVW impacts, the filling of wetlands.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad, I thought 0 to
And
25
it's
was
1-to-1 for
2-to-1 as well.
buffer zone impacts.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
My bad.
That pink is actually the 100-foot buffer, right?
Yes, it's all buffer zone, so it's not just 100, the outer edge is 100,
Yeah.
but as we get closer, there's gonna be some 50 and 25 in there.
Thanks. Okay. Any further questions on this? This one? No? Well, I guess my question is like, so there's green in between the spurs. It's not pink. Does that mean we're not considering, that would be buffer zone, right? Because that's within 25
It
feet.
is, but it is currently buffer zone, so we're not counting towards
okay.
our replication.
Gotcha.
And so that's why we went with the fingers, because it keeps the burden on the applicant of true wetland replication to the
Yes.
same.
Yes.
We just kind of reshaped it, but by creating the fingers, it allows you to create that jurisdictional buffer zone.
I'm with you. Thank you. Okay.
The last comment on the conservation letter, is regarding buffer zone restoration plantings within the temporarily disturbed air replication area work. This dovetails back into that sidewalk comment we were talking about. We're just asking that the location and type of those plantings be selected after the site walk with the Beta representative, I guess, determining the final location and configuration of the replication.
Right.
And so
Right.
we do specify that the plantings would be selected from the Franklin Best Development Practices Guidebook Native Species List.
Right.
And in coordination and approval with Beta.
Okay, I think that's it. Yeah? Good? Good. Mark and Louis, yeah?
Yep. Good.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, and then there's one comment that came up in the planning review that they're deferring to you guys on.
Okay.
And so this is planning comment stormwater 18. And so this comment is, when we were analyzing our stormwater impacts, we were looking at the BVW, the gray, and the sea of dark green. In there, we were looking at our impacts to there. Beta noted that technically, because those are IVWs, even though they're in an existing stormwater basin, they requested that we analyze the flows to that wetland to analyze the impacts to that wetland from the any changes to stormwater performance entering in there. And so in their letter, and I actually brought out some handouts so you guys can follow along the table. So it's stormwater 18 down the bottom.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
Thanks. Can you make sure I get a copy of that as well before the end of the meeting?
Sure, absolutely.
Thanks, Tyler.
Actually, you know what? I don't need this one. I have one for what I can use from now.
Thank you.
So it's comment stormwater 18 on the bottom of that handout, and it continues on to another page. So what Beta had done is they created a table showing existing and proposed peak flow rates and the ponding elevation in the basin. And in our response that we provided to planning, I added in a dewatering time because of the nature of the basin. And the changes that we've made, we do show an increase in peak flow rates into the basin, but the peak volumes, the total volumes going into the basin actually decrease. And so because of the flat, spread out nature of this watershed, what we feel is the most appropriate analysis of the impacts of the wetlands is how long are these wetlands inundated for on a given storm.
Okay.
Because essentially, regardless of how quickly the water is coming in, as soon as the water level gets above the bottom of the basin, the wetlands become flooded or inundated. And so we compared the pre and post inundation times. And so for a 2-year storm, in the existing condition, they're inundated for 52 hours, and then for the post, it's also still 52 hours. So they remain flooded for the same amount of time in the pre and post. The 10, it's 64 hours or 65 hours. For the 25-year storm, it's 66 hours and 66 hours. And then for the 100-year storm, it's 66 hours and 70 hours. So in our opinion, the impacts of the wetlands don't really change. And the ponding elevation for the 10-year storm, for example, is 5 inches more standing water.
Well, I mean, also, what are the variance in these numbers? Right, I mean, what's the statistical variance in these numbers, right?
Right.
Plus or minus, what, 10, 15%, maybe 20%?
Yeah.
And you're well within that, so I mean, basically no change.
Right, we
Statistically,
don't think the quality of these wetlands is going to be
not
impacted.
statistically significant, right?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Exactly.
So-
And so the Beta deferred to you guys to provide feedback to the planning department.
Yeah.
And so, we wanted to bring it to your attention, get your thoughts on it. But based on our dewatering calculations, which Beta has reviewed as part of their stormwater review, we don't anticipate any real material impact to the wetlands in terms of how long they're flooded for.
Right.
Peak flow rates are, into the basin are handled through riprap spillways to reduce the flows to non-erosive velocities. That sizing was reviewed by Beta as part of their planning review. And so essentially, basically, just how quickly the basin fills up and drains that we think is the best measure of impact to these existing wetlands.
Okay. Sounds logical. You guys all right?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Mark, Louis, you guys okay?
Yeah, understood.
Okay, yeah, we're good.
Great, thank you. And I think that was it. That was all the comments from
Okay.
Beta,
Yeah.
their letter to you guys, and then also the planning letter.
Okay.
And so we understand that because, we got this stuff into Breagle Eye and Beta, yesterday, after receiving the comments on Monday, that, they haven't had time to do a full review of everything that we resubmitted. And therefore, the typical procedure for the commission is to continue to the next meeting, get the clean Beta letters back.
Yeah.
And then, vote to issue them.
Yeah.
Our primary concern is, we understand and respect that. What we would like to get from the commission, because we can't necessarily close the hearing tonight.
Yes.
Planning is waiting to hear from us that you guys are all set, so there's not gonna be any more material changes to the plans that they can approve and kind of lock in on their side.
Yes.
So pending a clean Beta letter, do you feel that you'd be ready to, vote to close at the next hearing?
From what we've seen tonight, yes, I think the answer is yes.
Based on what we
Yes.
just discussed, we agreed with
We agree,
almost
yeah,
everything.
So,
Yeah, no
we're good?
surprises, we're good.
Mark, Louis, we agree, yes?
Yeah, we just
Yeah,
need the letter.
I mean, I think the conversation was productive, but it's tough to make a commitment until have everything finalized and been ready in front of us. But I don't see any issues with anything we
Right.
discussed tonight. If it remains at that, I think we'd be fine.
Yeah,
As long as you bring back what you said tonight, we'll be good.
yeah.
I actually, and commissioners, you could tell me otherwise, and, applicant sitting right there, you can tell me otherwise too, but this is actually in your favor. I wasn't going to send it back to Beta considering everything's more or less tied up. The one contingency was knowing that the stormwater is complete on the planning board side. So it would save the effort and money of needing a clean Beta letter. You don't need Beta to technically sign off on it, commissioners, you can do that yourself. But making sure that stormwater is set, which requires the planning board having heard from Gary. And I can always check in with the town planner tomorrow on that as well, because I don't have a good pulse.
So that's basically, that's the one, we call it the rate limiting step, is Gary and the planning board, yes? Correct?
Yeah, I think from the peer review letter we got from Beta for planning,
Yeah.
that's also similarly clean. It's just a bunch of deferrals back to the
Okay.
board
Okay.
for their approval on things like, parking and providing of street trees close to a building.
Right.
We think that one's similarly wrapped up. Ted Cannon, attorney for the project, is also on the call. I'm not sure if he wanted to weigh in on anything, but, we feel planning is just about the same place you guys are.
Okay.
We submitted to them yesterday as well. Their deadline for resubmittal is tomorrow. They're meeting on the 28th. And then your next meeting is on May 1st. So that's the
Okay.
same week.
Right.
It's up to you. We think that the stormwater is pretty much resolved.
Okay.
There weren't any major comments in here or deferrals to the board for
Okay.
that. But
Okay.
if you need final planning board sign off to clean up, to issue the order at the next meeting, or even vote to clear it now, I think with the assertion that you've made tonight, that as long as, everything is as we represented tonight and discussed, then it seems to be good. We can go to planning at the next meeting
Yeah.
and convey it to them, and they'll probably be okay.
I
But,
think you should do that.
Ted, I don't know if you wanted to weigh in on anything.
Yeah, Ted, yeah, we understand the timing issue.
If I, through the chair, if I may, I think that's tremendous. The applicant truly appreciates Beta turning things around so quickly, and also appreciates the commission's time and attention tonight to be able to put this in a position to finish up on May 1st. So I think all of that lines up great, and we appreciate it very much.
Okay, but yeah, we would like to do that. Believe us, Ted. We do want to,
Yeah.
we would like to do this
Sure.
on May 1st. So, okay, I think we're in very good shape. We're in
Yeah.
great shape.
I appreciate your
So,
time.
Yeah, and if anything obviously
Yeah.
comes up weird, let us know ASAP, okay? Just in case.
Mhm.
All right, great. Okay, so,
Thank you.
okay, in case, if no one has any questions, does anyone have any online or in the audience have any questions about this project before we move to continue? Okay, there being none, I will take a motion.
I'll give you a motion to continue 124, 126 Grove Street to May 1st at 7:01 PM.
Second,
Okay,
Vote to continue.
continue?
continue.
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 Guys?
Vote to continue.
Okay.
Vote to continue.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys, and thanks for working with us.
Thank you very much. Have a
Appreciate
good
it.
night.
Thank you.
All the
And thank you,
explanation,
Ted.
that worked out well.
Thank you.
All right. Oh,
Hey,
thank you.
Well,
Thanks. Thank you very much.
good Lord willing, the creek don't rise, you'll be off and running in 2 weeks.
Okay, good. That was excellent. We should do another one of those.
Yeah, yeah.
I like getting things moving forward. That's a very good thing. Okay. So the next thing, the next hearing we have is the NOI for 1 Paddock Lane. We have a meeting here that no new information, and that there was a request to continue. But I must ask, is there anyone here for 1 Paddock Lane? Yes?
I'm here.
Hi.
Should I step up?
Sure, if you want, yes.
I'm actually the applicant, Nabi Yunus, so I do exist. Anyways, as mentioned, the site plan revision was not, done in time, so we asked for another continuance.
Okay.
And it would be appreciated, thank you.
Okay, great, fantastic. Is there anything that you feel might be a barrier or anything at this point, or no, not just, it's just,
No, we're just trying to update it,
Okay.
added a few more mitigation type things.
okay,
Hopefully, that improves,
Okay.
the situation.
okay,
That's all.
great,
Yeah,
fantastic.
thank you.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay. Does anyone online or in the audience have any questions or comments about 1 Paddock Lane? There being none, I'll take a motion.
I'll give you a motion to continue the NOI for 1 Paddock Lane to May 1st at 7:02 PM.
Second,
Second that.
Vote to continue.
continue.
Continue,
Continue.
Continue.
guys?
Continue.
Continue.
Continue, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, yep.
Are they supposed to be signing in?
Brika, Lai, do we still need people to sign in when they
No.
talk? No?
As long as they say who they are very clearly.
Yeah, okay, yeah. It's really, yeah, I think it was just if the stenographer could not hear, then at least there's a backup. So,
Sorry
the
about
people are being really good. Thank you for speaking into the mic tonight. Thank you very much. Okay, so the next meeting we have is the fourth hearing, which is the ANRAD for 47 Partridge Street. With anyone online or in the audience for 47 Partridge Street?
Mr. Chairman, Danny Lewis, on for the applicant.
Okay, great. We have a note here, there was a peer review response on April 10th, that Beta still needs to confirm the off-property flags, and that there is a review in process. Is there anything additional that we should know about?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, but you are aware of the off-property flags that Beta needs to review, correct? Yes?
I am aware of those, correct,
Okay,
yes.
all right. Okay, unless there is anyone online or in the audience that has any comments or questions about this project, we will move to continue. No.
Do we have any timing on when that might happen?
That's quite, Brika, Lai, do you have any idea?
I do not, unfortunately. I can ask, but no, I don't know.
Yeah, and there's no one here from Beta, unfortunately, to answer that question. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, I'll take a motion, continues.
I'll give you a motion to continue the ANRAD for 47 Partridge Street to May 1st at 7:03 PM.
Second,
Vote to continue.
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 Continue?
Guys,
Continue.
Continue.
continue, thank you. All right. Now we move to the fifth hearing of the evening, which is the NOI for 100 102 Panther Way. Okay. We have here that we do have DEP comments, but I think we're waiting for an applicant response. And there was a request for continuation. Is there anyone here for Panther Way? Okay. Is there anyone in the audience or online that has any comments or questions about this project? Okay. There being none, I'll take a motion, continue.
I'll give you a motion to continue the NOI for 100 102 Panther Way to June 12th at 7:04 PM.
Second,
Vote to continue.
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 Continue?
Guys,
Vote to continue.
continue, thank you. Okay, and then we'll open up the sixth hearing. Sorry, my pages are out of order. Which is the NOI for 151 Grove Street. Is there anyone here or online for 151 Grove Street? Okay. So anyone in the audience or online that has any comments or questions about 151 Grove Street? Okay, there being none, I'll take a motion to continue.
I'll give you a motion to continue the NOI for 151 Grove Street to May 1st at 7:05 PM.
Second,
Vote to continue.
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 Continue?
Guys,
Continue.
Continue.
continued. Okay, and now we'll open up the seventh hearing of the evening, which is the NOI for 50 Constitution Boulevard.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Brendan Reale from Atlantic Design Engineers, representing the applicant. I have with me Ray Hammond from Honeywell, who's also here for the project. Last time we had a meeting, it was continued because the response letter from Beta had not come in time. That was their second letter. They had reviewed the project, and as far as stormwater goes, there was no further comments. There were a couple referrals, but they were related to the planning board. We can discuss those, but I believe that Brika Lai has visited the site. She's walked the wetland line, and I don't believe that there were any comments from her. We have the DEP number.
Okay, right. So as far as I understand, the project is still waiting for ZBA approval. Is this correct?
Yes, we will have to go for
Okay.
ZBA.
All right. So just again, note. Classically, people do file with planning and ZBA simultaneously, making a parallel process, such that when that's all done and they come to Concom realizes nothing's going to change once they get to us. So typically, we're the last one. So classically, planning closes, ZBA closes, then Concom. But ZBA in this case is not closed yet, right? So historically, this is for the commissioners. Historically, we would continue on that basis. However, I did inquire as to what was the nature of the outstanding, quote, issues. And my understanding is it's simply a height issue, a height requirement. Is that correct? And there is nothing else, that's it.
That's correct.
Right? So that would, as far as we are aware, and I did query, that would not impact that would not impact wetland impacts, right? So that's sort of a non-material issue to Concom. So given that everything else is in order, it would not make sense for us to delay the project by, in my opinion, by continuing based upon a height issue at ZBA. Now you guys can argue with me, but that's my position. Okay? Yes?
No, when I was looking at it, I made the same
Right.
determination that you
Yeah,
did.
right, that would be
It didn't,
silly.
there wasn't anything materially holding this up.
No,
And we,
yeah.
unless we had a very good reason,
Yeah,
we
but-
should be able to
yeah.
move this forward.
Yeah, let's move this forward, yeah.
I guess we could put something in there. If the ZBA does something stupid, then we would get to review it again, but I don't know.
Something stupid, it's a height requirement, yeah, they're done.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there's ZBA, but
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, I
If
think we should.
anything material changes, they would have to come for an amended site plan anyways.
Yeah, right.
That's true.
That's right.
You're correct, that's true.
If there's a big change, then
Yeah,
it's all
yeah.
nullified, so.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't think we should hold up
no.
in my opinion, I don't think
No.
we should hold up the
I think that
parade.
would be silly, yeah. Guys, online, Louis and Mark, what do you agree?
I think we could maybe throw in some special conditions that would help reinforce that, right?
Yep.
27 approved changes, right, propose additional conditions, and errata changes. Probably ought to, and just as a backup, but I'm comfortable with that, Jeff. I mean,
Okay.
I don't see any changes that impacts us, but, and then require an amendment to the filer, to Eli's point. I don't know if we need a special condition that, it's kind of procedural, but,
Yeah, that's just procedural.
Yeah.
yeah.
But you should go through your exercise again.
I mean, do we want to walk through and find out, I mean, so here's the question. If we can decide now what standard conditions, and if, I don't think we need any special conditions, but if we do, if we can decide that right now, we can actually close this evening, if you're willing to do that.
Yeah, I mean.
You all right, you guys are all right with that?
What's the height issue?
Height
of what?
I think it's the height of the solar panels over I think it's the height of the solar panels over the parking area, the structure, right? Is that
That's
correct?
correct, yep.
Yeah.
Specifically for the canopy.
How far off is it?
I believe that the requirement is over 8 feet?
So, let me just, Raymond Hanna with Honeywell, Hanna is the last name. The height limitation is 15 feet. And our underdeck, the bottom of our canopy, has to be a minimum of 14 feet for emergency and first response vehicles.
Okay.
And so we're kind of sandwiched in between, the height minimum that the underneath of the canopy has to be versus what is on top. So
Right.
if there were no issues with emergency response vehicles, then we could keep that 15-foot limitation.
Right.
But the thickness
Yeah.
of the beam, the racking, and the panel creates, I believe, a 16.5 foot, 16.5 feet. So it's 1.5 feet over the height limit. And just for, I don't know, but my understanding is that we can actually build the canopy. If it's not if it's just a carport, we can build it to any height. But for some reason, because it's solar, it goes through this solar bylaw or one of the bylaws, and that's why we have to get the variance.
Right.
So it's really just a matter of, if there were no height limits, the underdeck limits, then we would be able to meet that requirement. But because we have to go to 14 feet, it creates a height above
Okay.
the max
Yeah, and
by
it
a
would be
foot and a half.
insane for them not to give you a variance, because if there's like, the first time that there's a fire, a car fire, right? You want those emergency vehicles, I mean, come on, okay?
Plus, we believe there's other Franklin carports that have
Come
that
on,
variance.
it's a foot and a
so-
half, come on.
So we
Yeah.
believe that we won't have any issues with the ZBA. It's just going through the formalities.
Right, because of the silly bylaw that limits it, yeah, right, okay. All right.
Should we read
Thank you.
a bunch of these off and?
Yeah, well, just tell us, yeah, which ones do we think we need,
Okay, want me to do that?
yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Are there gonna, well, just quick question, are you guys planning on doing any stockpiling on the site? It doesn't look like it, but
Oh, that's a good question, because there is a condition about stockpiling.
there's a number that refer to that.
For like if you
Fill?
pulling, yeah, for fill, yeah. For like
No, everything's
I-
gonna be live loaded out as it comes out.
Right, that's what I thought was true, okay. All right.
Okay. So I'd say, 20 erosion control barriers, 21 extra silation barriers,
Yep,
24 work performed according to plan. As I mentioned before, well, we didn't say this one before, for 27 approved changes, 28 notification prior to work. 29, we mentioned right to impose additional conditions, 30 erratas changes, 34, no straw bales. I think it's going to be no sediment, 44 removal of barriers. Building permit sign off, that'd probably be it. Right?
I agree.
And in fact, there was one additional
48, no
comment.
refueling.
Okay. There was also a comment from Beta about 8 trees that will be placed along the perimeter of the parking lot. And wouldn't mind conditioning, a special condition 52, that the applicant will provide the locations for these trees to the Conservation Department and Commission and receive approval as such before construction is started, would be one other one I'd throw in.
Yeah, we're good with that, Mark.
Chair Livingstone
Yeah.
and Vice Chair LePage, I actually have 3 additions.
Okay.
If I were to draft this,
Okay.
I would include 22 an as-built plan. Redundancy is enforceable. We need
Okay.
an as-built. Okay. 25 referencing order of conditions. What that means is that every supervisor on site needs to have the conditions on hand.
Okay,
You don't know how many times I hear, I didn't know about the conditions.
yeah. that's-
Well, now it can be enforceable.
Yep.
Okay. And then 31, compliance contact information. That is very helpful for me to know who I need to contact about what issue.
Right. I don't think you guys have any problems with that, no?
No, we're going to establish a trailer, and those, the order of conditions will be in the trailer
Perfect.
permanently during the
Perfect.
entire
Perfect.
construction.
Excellent.
Okay. So I
Okay.
think we're good. We're good if somebody was actually recording those numbers. Mark, were you checking those off? Because, I mean, we, and, or Bricolai, because I think that we're good. If we can read those into the record, I think we can get an approval.
I mean, I was counting that as being read into the record, so I.
Yeah.
You can
Okay.
say it as stated.
As stated? Okay,
As stated, yes.
okay.
Commissioners, don't forget your findings for order of conditions. It wasn't touched on Louise Drive, but you need to include it for this one as well. So remember the last time
Ah,
when you have your findings, whether it's public drinking water,
okay.
shellfish protection, which we don't have here, and I'm
Oh,
would
yeah,
like me to
yeah.
pull it up, so I'll pull it up for you so you can look at it.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bricolai, do we have to read it into the record necessarily, or can we just reference it?
You need to read it for Tyler to know what to draft when I'm on my leave.
Oh, okay.
I have been, as your agent and having administrative approval and the technical knowledge, been filling that out.
Okay.
You need to be able to do that. So give me just one moment. Here we go. So this is your findings, right?
Okay.
So if it were me, I'll just guide this one. Because of the location of it, I would put public water supply. I always check up groundwater supply when it's a wetland. Storm damage prevention, right? These are also old basins that have turned wetland. Prevention of pollution, same thing. Flood control. Dealer's choice for protection of wildlife habitat. I'd like to note that while most of what we do deals with NHESP, National Heritage Endangered Species Program, wildlife habitat, so that is habitat that is specific for endangered and threatened species. That is the only jurisdictional habitat that we have control over. When it comes to findings, it doesn't have to be that. So it's a looser term.
Okay.
So you can take it away.
Okay. So I think we could actually approve with the conditions as stated.
Yes.
And with the findings as stated, right?
Yes.
Okay. I think that's it. Do we have anything else to add? I think that's it, those two pieces.
Did you want protection of wildlife habitat or not? Because I didn't provide guidance on that. I deferred that to the commission.
Protection of wildlife habitat.
Do you think it's relevant in this position, in this situation?
I think if you were to ask me, I'd say all wetlands are habitat, even if they're in.
Okay, then I guess we'll go with it. If you guys are all right with that?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I think public water supply, groundwater supply, storm damage prevention, prevention of pollution, protection of wildlife habitat, flood control are pretty standard,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah. I imagine you'll be using those for every order of conditions.
I was thinking so.
Okay. Okay, fine. So, same thing, approval, as stated,
As
findings of
stated.
fact, and the list.
Okay. I'll take a stab.
You wanna take a stab?
Okay.
Okay.
I'll give you a motion to approve the NOI for 50 Constitution Boulevard
Yep.
with the conditions as stated
Findings of fact.
and the findings of fact as stated.
Okay.
You want to put the wildlife on there?
No, that's part of the findings of fact.
Okay, findings of fact.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's it, okay.
Second that.
Yep, I'll take a second.
Second it.
Okay, you second, okay.
And I'll vote to approve.
Approve.
Approve?
Approve.
Approve?
You guys?
Approve.
Louis?
Approve.
Approve.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you for working with us, guys, thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Okay. Good, hey, wow, that's amazing. Dude.
Good night, good night.
Okay.
We're on a roll.
We are rolling, baby. Okay. All right. And the last one, the last meeting hearing for tonight is 55 Milliken Avenue. Is there anyone here or online for 55 Milliken Avenue?
The applicant requested continuance after I issued
Okay.
the agent report.
Okay. Is there anyone online or in the audience that has any comments or questions about 55 Milliken Avenue? That being done, I will take a motion to continue.
I'll give you a motion to continue the NOI for 55 Milliken Avenue to May 1st at 7:06 PM.
Second.
Okay.
Vote to continue.
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 Continue?
Guys?
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Continue, okay. And it looks like that we have the next issue on the list is the certificates of compliance. The NEP transmission line, ROW CE 159-1204. It says they're changing applicant, Bricolai.
They should be here.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't have any.
Hi, Bricolai.
Oh,
Allison.
there you are.
Hi,
Okay,
Al.
sorry. There was no one in the audience. Sorry. Go ahead. All right. So what's up with the transmission line?
So we had submitted our request for a certificate of compliance a couple years ago when I was doing an audit on what we had recorded and just checking out our permits to date. It turned out that we had never received the original in the mail. Something happened with the Postal Service, I think. So I did reach out to Bricolai and asked her if we could record it now with one change, and that's that New England Power Company had moved offices. So they're now located at 170 Data Drive in Waltham. And it was requested that I attend tonight to ask the Commission's approval to change the address and perhaps need to re-sign the certificate of compliance.
Okay. That's the administrative trivial. Yes?
Thank you for waiting, Allison.
Yeah, thank you.
welcome.
We're all right with that? We're all right with the change? Yeah. All right, guys, yeah, everybody's good?
Just a
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're okay.
yeah.
Yeah, we're good. We're good with this. Yep.
motion.
Do we have to make a motion on this or no?
Yeah, you have, you're amending the certificate of
Okay,
compliance.
so a motion to amend.
You're reissuing.
Okay, so so should I say we're amending and reissuing? Is that what, is that?
Yes, that's
Okay.
fine. That's fine
So
language.
I'll take a motion to amend and reissue the COC for NEP transmission line ROW.
I'll give you a motion to amend and reissue the certificate of compliance for the NEP transmission line at right-of-way CE 159-1204.
Second?
Okay,
Vote to approve.
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 Approve?
Guys,
Approve.
Approve.
approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good night, all.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Okay.
Allison. Thanks for waiting.
And we have 2 minutes, guys. We have the pound cake from March 20th, the 11 PM meeting. You guys went through that. And April 3rd, the meeting after that. So I did not have any, I looked through and I did not have any changes. Did anybody else have any changes?
No, I read that.
No? No? Did you guys? Nobody? We're good?
Good.
Okay, so I'll take 2, there'll be separate motions. I'll take a motion to approve the March 2025 minutes.
I'll give you a motion to approve the March 2025 minutes.
Second?
Vote to approve.
Approve?
Approve.
Approve.
Approve?
Guys?
Approve.
Okay,
Approve.
approved. And then I'll take a motion to approve the minutes for April 3, 2025.
I'll give you a motion to approve the minutes for April 3, 2025.
Second?
Vote to approve.
Approve?
Approve.
Approve.
Approve?
Guys?
Approve.
Okay,
Approve.
approved. Okay, now we go on to our discussion items, and the first one is Concom training. This is Bricolai.
Yep, this is just your open time if you have any questions of things we talked about or things you'd like me to review again in light of my upcoming leave.
Yeah, it's pretty extensive. I mean, I don't think so. Do you guys, I mean, it's pretty clear. Yeah, guys?
You know, maybe one suggestion, right, is getting ready to go through some of these approvals. Is maybe, I don't know whether we just want to have everybody come prepared to make recommendations on special conditions. If we want to start, shared Word document where we're putting information in there that could get complex. I don't know. I mean, we don't have to decide this now. Just thinking about, I don't mind continuing to help spearhead if people are comfortable with that. Just want to make sure we're all aligned as we move forward when Bricolai's going to be on maternity leave, that we're clear on how that's going to work. So we can think about it, talk about it now. A lot there. Just going to make sure we're ready for it.
So, one of the things we could do but it would be basically delaying things, is we could essentially put together, which is not what we did tonight, we could basically put together conditions, and then we could have Tyler write them up, and then the next meeting, we could because we have 2 weeks to review them, we could then basically review them and then vote on them at the next meeting officially, and then basically at that point, vote to approve the project, in that case, with conditions. It would mean a 2-week delay every time we wanted to end a meeting, but it would give a chance for Tyler to write things, something formally that we would actually all review on the same page, same text, and then essentially come to a meeting to discuss.
So we could close out the NOI, close the public hearing, right?
Yes,
And
then wait for the approval.
without approving the project.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, given that any given project that we do goes at least 2 or 3 or 4
Right.
renditions.
Right.
On the first go-around, we could start, because all you got is, you can pick it up, the sheet there, and just
Yeah.
say, okay,
These are the ones
done,
we.
done,
yeah.
done,
Right.
done, and
Right.
just write the numbers down, and we're good.
Okay. That, yeah.
The only thing I'd say to that, I think with the standard special conditions were good. I've gone through this, particularly in Louise Drive. I think the challenge was writing additional special conditions.
Yep.
So a lot of times in the back and forth of the court review, applicants will actually address things so they don't need to be special condition anymore. So that's a little tough to get started or upstream because you could be creating a whole lot of work for ourselves that isn't necessary, right? Stuff that needs to be added to plans or whatnot.
That's true.
So, yeah, just kind of
You kind of have
observationally,
to get to the end to really know what your special conditions are really going to be. That is the
Right,
point.
yeah.
That's a good point, yeah.
what
That's
we
really
haven't
true.
done yet.
Right.
A lot of it they can accomplish.
So my laptop died as soon as you started talking, Mark, so I had to rejoin from my phone. It gave me no warning. But I think I'm on a level with everyone. I just want to make sure that you understand that once you get to that point of closure, so you will have a beta letter, and beta will provide technical comments, right? Or technical conditions. We talked about that already. You still want, Tyler's not drafting the conditions for you. You need to draft them for him, and then he'll record them.
Oh, sorry, Tyler.
Yeah, he's not drafting them for you. So at that meeting where you close the public hearing, you need to discuss the conditions already.
Yeah.
So I think I'd be willing to volunteer, see if this works, but at least to try and draft the conditions for that meeting so we can talk about them, and we can wordsmith them together and input. And then, can finalize it there at the meeting, and then for the last point,
All right.
Tyler can formalize something.
Okay,
I think
so-
that's a decent process.
So we can make you the official conditions scribe, as it were?
Wow, I feel so honored.
Okay.
So you're
I'm
volunteering?
happy to do it if that's helpful. I'm willing to do that.
That would be helpful. That would be very helpful, actually, yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
But you
Okay.
guys don't have to wait for me, right? Anybody can look at these peer reviews and bring information in.
Right.
But I'm happy to give it a good starter and get those juices flowing.
Okay, go.
And just for everybody's knowledge, the reason why as well is that I'm a little particular. I know sometimes like I have the complete order finalized, or sometimes you're just signing one sheet of paper. But I think it's very important that if you're signing a legal document, you know the conditions that are applied. So that 2-week gap allows for Tyler to be able to draft that order as well. And you know what you're signing. Otherwise, on meeting one, trying to mitigate too much back and forth or confusion, right? That way at meeting one, when you're looking to close, you're not drafting conditions, trying to find findings, closing the meeting, and then there's nothing for you to sign.
Right.
So this helps Tyler also. It gives him time to be able to draft that for you to sign.
Right. Fair.
So.
That's fair, yep.
Did you, Mark, mention that that's what we'll be doing next meeting?
We can't mention that, but wait, we talked about whether we're going to try to have Louise Drive. We were ready to vote today, so we close that. But yeah, let's, as a recommendation, let's start that process next meeting. So something we're working on, we'll close the NOI, close the public hearing, formalize the special conditions at the meeting. Iowa will publish them, and then we'll the project the following, if that's okay.
Okay.
What if we have an issue with it's been closed on the first night, and then 2 weeks later, somebody has an issue with something that was written up? Is it too late if we've already closed it?
We'll close it, yeah.
So maybe we shouldn't close it.
That's why I discuss it at that first meeting.
Well, the idea is we'll all agree, Michael, at that meeting when we close the public hearing, and then it's just a matter of transcribing what we've all agreed to.
Correct.
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, so I guess if there's a typo or, something, and it's not ready to be signed, I guess we don't, as long as it's okay to, disagree with whatever's been drafted, not from the content that we discussed, but just for whatever reason.
If there's a typo or if there's language that isn't correctly or accurately transcribed, yes, you can change it.
Okay.
But if content changes, you can't remove condition, for example. You can't add conditions. It's just kind of like the minutes.
Yeah, okay.
Correction.
Are you comfortable with that, Michael?
Yeah, I guess, although, stuff can happen in 2 weeks, and we may decide we don't like the conditions we agreed that made sense 2 weeks ago.
Well, we're not gonna approve it until the conditions that are gonna be read out, just like we did tonight.
The point we're saying is that we're going to approve it at the time we're approving the project.
Yeah.
So those two things go together. So it won't be the case where we'll approve something, see what will happen, then we'll approve the project. That's not what we're saying. Okay, so there will be time, there will be a way to, so you could say, oh, do we even need this anymore? Right? We don't need this condition anymore. Fine, strike it, right? And then we can vote on the final conditions with that struck.
You can do that, you get all that with the case closed, though, is what I'm asking. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I also want to note that meeting one is ambiguous. Meeting one is the first time a public hearing's open. It's meeting one of a two-part process.
Okay. Please, but also remember that the hearing is to take testimony. So when you close, you're not taking testimony. That's not part of taking testimony.
All right.
That's
makes
administrative.
sense. Okay.
Okay.
So, just one more question, I'm sorry. If we agree upon something, let's say this week, the order of conditions is written, and then when we get ready to sign it, we forgot, we did agree upon number 20, but I don't see it written here, must have been left off by mistake. Can that be added in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Before we vote on it, we can still do anything.
Yes. Yeah,
thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
You just can't add new conditions.
Correct.
Yep, exactly.
Call Roger.
Yeah, because that would be a material change. Right, then not a correction.
Yeah.
You're talking about a literal correction. Yeah, that's different. Like, I just thought of 5 new conditions I really want on this thing. Sorry, no. No.
No, but it's a good call out with Michael and Roger. Right? We can correct anything to make sure it matches the record from the previous meetings. That's a good call out, right? That's important.
I agree, yeah.
Whether it's grammatical or material, right? Just got to make sure it's all in there.
Okay, anything else, guys? I think we're good. Okay, let's move on to the next discussion, which is the Earth Day event, Vittles. I can tell you.
So,
wait, go ahead.
I was going to say, one thing I volunteered to do and it didn't work out super well was to call Max Roach Beef to see if they wanted to sell pizza slices. I did call. Unfortunately, the owners had just departed for vacation, The woman that answered the phone told me she would text the owner that had done this kind of thing before and might be interested. That was days ago, and I haven't heard back. So unfortunately, I think we got to assume that Max is not a viable option, unfortunately.
So I can tell you, Big Y apparently doesn't do this anymore, which for some reason, there's some sort of new policy in place. I also contacted the Craft Roots guys, and what I didn't know was they don't have, quote, a list of vendors. The vendors approach them, and they don't know who is gonna come until approximately about 1 to 1.5 weeks in advance. That's why they don't post the list of events, the list of food trucks in weeks in advance. It's only like basically 2 weeks in advance. So he said it's kind of catch as catch can. So I asked him if he could write down, you know, maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4, whatever, that he had really good experiences with. He said he would. I have not heard back from him. I got to ping him about that, or I have to go buy a beer. And basically, so there was that connection made. But other than those two, I have not done anything else, or haven't thought about other venues that, or establishments that we could adopt. But it's just, my impression is people have really pulled back on that kind of thing. And maybe that's an indication of like where the economy is going. Thank you, Mr. Tariff, but I digress. But I don't know.
We may have a no victuals day.
Or someone's gonna have to like cook a lot of pizzas.
Well, I think commissioners, again, I know you mentioned expense, but Birchwood still does. You have Franklin Public Schools.
Well, that's
you know,
true.
I can still try and arrange a pickup from Duncan.
Hey, what about that cafe at Tri-County? You know that place that you go, that restaurant they've got?
Oh, the restaurant.
Yeah, the restaurant. You know, because I mean, these are students, right? They want to try stuff.
Yeah.
I hadn't even
That's a
thought
cool
about that.
idea.
I haven't on Saturday,
Sunday.
Wait, but they're only
That
open.
one I would just be cautious of because you still have an open permit with them. And they're
Oh.
currently under construction.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, maybe Birchwood is a,
Even if we did like an ethics voucher, you know, like we are actually doing this, or
You
just-
can, I am not your ethics police, and Jamie tells me too much that I remind you guys of ethics because it puts my neck out on the line, but I'd be remiss not to mention it to you.
No. So let me ask, okay, let me do that. I'll send a note to the ethics group. I'll try.
Your ethics do not impact my job. I just do it because I care.
No, but you're right.
You do what you want.
No, if we say, can these guys make some pizzas for us? It's not going to impact whether we approve the project, come on. So we'll let them tell us this, that or not. But at least I'll have something in writing from them that, okay, you're all right, right? So
Let's just hope if they say no and then there's an enforcement issue, it's not viewed as retribution.
I personally don't.
I'm just saying, this is my
I would
job.
have to agree with
okay?
Frank Eli that, you know, I mean, we're okay, but if we do it and something goes wrong, well, now we're on thin ice. You know, so, there's so many pizza places in town.
Oh,
If
right.
that's what you're bent on, we get it from
Well, no,
somewhere
but I mean,
else.
yeah. I guess because we're going to pay for it. We're not asking for free pizzas yet.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there is that, Jeff. Yes, you would have to pay for them. You can't.
Well, I would go to the Bellingham House of Pizza.
Bellingham.
oh, yeah.
No, wait. Have you guys been to Bellingham House of Pizza? They're freaking awesome pizza.
Support local.
We're not
It's like-
denying that, but I mean,
It's totally like local, like dive bar thing, but it's great pizza. I mean, I would say it's comparable to the Rome. What? What?
What? I mean, there's gotta be
I mean, your face is like, what? Oh my God, like I
8 to
just killed
12
somebody.
8 to 12 pizza shops in Franklin are all owned by, at least some of them are owned by Franklin
Alright.
people.
Franklin Pizza Places.
You get county on the board.
Okay.
I love it, Roger. I love it, Roger.
You're like on the,
support
you're like
local.
on the, you're like on the border of Bellingham.
Me?
Yeah, I
I'm
thought
on the
you,
border of Norfolk.
I thought you were way up, by,
I'm in the last house.
Yeah.
Last house
Oh.
in Frank, my neighbor's in
I thought you were
Norfolk.
the bee guy that was over there.
No, no, no.
Oh, I
I'm
thought
a
you were something
professional
totally
bee guy,
different. No, I thought
What's
you
your
were
street?
like, oh.
Green Street.
Woo.
Green
Come
Street.
on, Bob.
It's the one that's got the big hit,
Oh,
hill
see,
on it?
I
Well,
thought,
you come down Daniels to Brook and then you're on Green.
Oh, okay.
Probably
I
a
can
mile
practice
from
my
your house.
GIS skills,
oh,
stalking
okay, you are
projects.
not where I thought you were. Okay. Okay, sorry.
Just
Well,
learn.
order a bunch
You
of
can-
Franklin pizzas and then go
Franklin
order a half a
pizzas.
dozen Bellingham
Okay.
pizzas
I-
and put them over there. These are Bellingham pizzas.
Okay, here's a line, here's a line there. You can have the Bellingham pizzas if you want, but these are the Franklin pizzas. Okay, okay.
There you go.
Any leftover Bellingham goes home with Jeff.
Oh, God. Yeah. Okay, okay. All right. We are continuing to investigate. Let's just put that
What-
down. Yeah?
No, because your next meeting is not until May 1st.
Oh.
That's after the event. I need to know what, I need direction from somebody, or someone needs to be appointed as the pizza person. So they can let me know what to order to invoice, because remember, the
What?
town is,
Can you give us a deadline?
tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yes. Your event is not this weekend, but the following.
All right, tomorrow.
So
That's coming up.
it's from 10 to 1, so it's kind of early for pizza.
It's never too early.
It's never too early for pizza.
Dude, did you like even go to college?
Conservation Commission
What?
is providing granola.
No, breakfast is cold pizza. That's what you eat, right? You take a knife and a
Fresh
fork,
fruit.
and you
Beer and a cold
basically eat the pizza that you left in our fridge overnight. That's what you.
Bugs,
Bricolai, did we order pizza once
edible
before?
plants.
Big Y. We ordered from Big Y. We did. We did.
Roots.
I
I
ordered
know
it,
we've
Roger.
had donuts there, but did you ever
Not
bring
donuts.
pizza?
That's
We
so
did.
That's better than
unhealthy.
pizza?
No,
I'm trying to
so
find out how many
unhealthy.
pizzas we've had in the past.
Oh,
Did we
that's
sell?
a,
I don't
Did
think
get
we
rid
had
of
pizza.
Yes, we did. I mean, yeah, we had Big Y, and it went like
well, we
crazy.
could order a couple boxes of granola bars and put them.
Oh, man.
So
God.
we did have pizzas last year, Roger, but that was for the invasive species pull.
Oh, okay.
Granola bars and hibiscus tea.
Last year,
That'll bring the crowds.
last year for fall, we did apple cider and apple cider donuts.
Yeah, we did do that. That was good, yeah.
And we did s'mores with the little s'mores.
Eh. Yeah.
What we've done before.
Oh my
that gal-
God, Timmy's hair is on fire. No. Okay.
There were the little tabletop, the small little ones. It was actually quite a hit.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
We just had a fire extinguisher there. I got it approved by the fire chief.
And lots of bald
Super
kids.
fun.
Okay, great.
I remember those, yeah.
Yeah, it was fine. And then when we did the bee houses, we did,
I stopped at Dunkies.
yeah, I think it was Duncan. I do
Bob's is a Joe.
that at 10:30 is the Woods Walk. So for scheduling, I mean, you're right, it's never too early for pizza, but if the event starts at 10 and most people are gonna go for a Woods Walk, you're gonna have cold pizza. So,
Pizza rolls in like at 11:30.
minutes.
That's probably the move,
I-
right?
fine. So,
Right after the woods walk, right around lunchtime. Michael will be a lot happier. He'll feel more comfortable, I think.
I'm easy.
It's up, Michael.
S'mores and hot apple cider, that's not too bad either, I guess. Although it'll be cold.
no, because you can get them in the they came in warmers. The for the hot apple cider.
So why don't we order some sheet pizza from Big Y, and one of us could
that's
go
local.
and pick it up for the end of the walk.
Roger, I think we're going with the local Franklin family.
I'd like to amend that recommendation.
Oh, yeah, right. So my recommendation is like totally, like Deep Six, like
Well,
shot down,
I was
like
thinking Big Y is in town.
Gestapo'd, but oh yeah, Big Y.
Well, Big Y is further away. so wouldn't it be easier to find someplace that's a little bit closer to the park?
Is there a place?
Isn't there a Franklin House of Pizza? Because I'm fairly certain that's where I'm from.
In
and-
the,
Yeah,
plaza
there's-
where the food bank is.
Yeah, I like your world.
Okay,
Pizza
Franklin House
place.
of Pizza.
Okay.
We do have a Domino's in town too.
No, no,
Local,
come
local.
on. 'Cause standards, people, standards.
It's also central and.
My
pizza.
God.
That's like last resort for my
I'm
kids.
not like 21, you know? I'm not making like wedgies on the top of the dorm and like throwing the couches off that are on fire. Okay,
Hungry.
anyway.
Morning pizza's the best.
Okay.
All right.
Franklin House of Pizza, we'll get, I don't know, what? 3, 4 pizzas? I don't know, varying things.
5 large pies.
5 large pies?
I don't have too much and too little.
Okay, 5 large pies.
Box of
Hey.
donuts.
No, don't donuts. Yeah, we'll just do that.
Okay.
Okay? Franklin House of Pizza. It has
11:30.
Franklin in the title.
What about,
Hello.
ice cream truck?
I haven't heard back, but I'll reach back out to her too.
Yeah, they usually need a big venue. I mean, it's hard
She
to get
came
the
up-
trucks. It's hard to get the trucks.
Couldn't get the lobster truck, huh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that would be amazing. The lobster guys? Yeah.
I think the problem is we'd run into they'd have to go through the approval process
Yes.
in a week. I was just Googling how to call Cousins Lobster, but then I'm like, in what, 6 business days, there's no way that'll.
You basically are
come
limited to
together.
basically everyone that has been on the town common at the farmer's market. I mean, that's basically, because they're already pre-approved with the town.
Well, they make pizzas, but I don't know if they got their new annual permit.
What, the ice cream
Who's
guys?
that?
Who?
No, the pizza truck.
What pizza truck?
The pizza.
Oh, he's out of Norfolk, I think, yeah.
Not
Let's get
a
the,
local
let's get the
Franklin.
bread guy there. Let's bring in the bread man. We'll eat bread. That stuff's awesome.
Oh, that's out of Worcester.
It's all right.
We don't home grow our own trucks, food trucks here, unfortunately.
Okay, well, that sounds good.
All
For
right.
that direct. I have one other announcement.
Yep.
It's more for Roger. He completed his fundamentals.
Yay.
Yay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Now you get to wear it like the purple
Job.
sash.
Are we all set though with the, so what are we doing? We have a 10:30 Woods Walk. Are we bringing any like literature out of Bricolai's office or?
So you just,
signs?
somebody needs to come pick all that up.
I can do that.
I could do that. I'll go ahead, Roger. If you got it, that'd be great.
Okay.
Okay.
So
I've got
that,
I've got a table and a tent from our farmer's market days. I'll bring that. An awning tent, right, and a table we can put it on.
I got everything but one item needed for the biomes. That will be delivered next Tuesday. So Roger, you and I can connect on Tuesday.
Okay.
Did you get the foam boards yet? Because I was gonna cut out the, just some things I have to do beforehand.
Yeah, if you want to come in tomorrow, our offices are closed on Monday. But if you want to come in tomorrow, Tyler, the foam boards are the biggest box.
Okay. All right, I'll have a look for them.
Thank you.
Is Mike Downey coming, do we know?
He's not.
The other guy.
Tom Ashton.
That's too bad. Okay.
He's also ahead, just in case you wanted to know.
I think maybe next year, we ought to start this process a little earlier. We could probably be, have a better showing. I'd be willing to take that on. Obviously, it's a year out, but,
Well, usually what events like this, people start planning like right after the event ends, like for the next year.
Yeah, I know, I just didn't want to throw that out.
But, you know, typically, but we haven't been doing that. We have not been diligent in doing that, so.
Is the town doing anything?
Yeah, this weekend.
There's actually, there's two groups. There's one group, a totally separate group, the Arts and whatever it is group that's doing something at the sculpture park, in addition to
Yeah.
rec. So there's at least two groups doing stuff.
It's the Accessible Earth Day event. We had our first one last year at the sculpture park. This was the second iteration. That came out of the open space and recreation plan because accessibility was a big priority.
It'd be nice if maybe everybody could do it together and then.
That'll never happen.
Would be nice.
We tried and we tried, no, we got told, speak to the hand.
Well, I mean, last year, the accessible group kind of worked with us, Bricolage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made it.
Yeah, okay, so, I mean, I would think if, here again, if we plan a little earlier, maybe I could meet with Ryan and coordinate so that there's a couple spots in town that are having Earth Day.
Love it.
You could, but I'm just telling you, in the past, Ryan has been I am not interested in working with Concom. He's been pretty adamant about that.
Well, maybe there's just
They
new
want to
board
do their
out
own
there.
thing, and that's it. Because we asked originally if we could actually come to the one that he typically holds at Beaver Pond, and we were told unequivocally, no.
So with the chair's permission, could I speak to Ryan about
Yes,
next year?
you may, you absolutely
Thank
may.
you. I will take that on,
If you need some help, I'd be more than happy to help.
okay?
Take your influencer with you.
I'll take that from where it came.
Okay. I think we don't have any other updates, right? Nothing?
Nope.
I think we're ready to close. You guys?
Hey, one last thing, Jeff.
Yeah.
Just realized I'm gonna end up missing the May 29th meeting. My son's wedding is out in
Okay.
Vancouver, British Columbia, so.
I'm
And I'll be missing the May 15th meeting. I'll be on vacation. I was just looking for the calendar. I couldn't find it. Like,
It's on the website.
vacation calendar.
Oh, the vacation, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took that down because nobody was utilizing it.
Thank you.
Okay.
We don't get enough vacation.
And just, nobody was putting their leaves of absence on there. I was just using it, so I just thought, well, I might as well just use my own if it's just keeping track of, for my own sanity.
Right, but you got those two, right?
Yep, May 15th and May 29th.
Okay.
I'll project out on the spreadsheet.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Anything else, guys? No? Everything's right. Ready?
I'll give you a
Right.
motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Adjourn.
Adjourn.
Adjourn.